Sword raised, Darko stepped through the breach, followed by Falurk, Verkar, Leo, Daryl, and lastly the old man. The inside of the palace was a vast dome. A great part of the roof had collapsed, letting in light from the sky. Suddenly, with screams and howls from all around the warriors, they were attacked by black, shiny imps. Wild in their rage, they ran at the paladins, their tiny wings flapping. Swords swung into the mad creatures, and with shrieks and howls, they were easily cut to pieces by the paladins. But the paladins were outnumbered, and the little swords of the imps were dipped in poison, so even the slightest cut could even kill a paladin. The five fought while further moving into the chamber for better agility and to fight from the five-pointed star position. Out of the darkness, an imp leapt at the back of the old man, who howled in fright. The imp raised his blade in both his arms, and with a loud scream started to strike. With a golden flash, Daryl's sword struck the imp, and he flew severed from his blade into the darkness. The old man looked up at Daryl and fainted. As suddenly as the imps appeared, they disappeared. The cavernous room was quiet, yet the screams of the imps still echoed in Daryl's head. Darko looked over his men, relieved that no one was harmed. As they moved further into the chamber, Daryl spotted a large mound made from thousands of skulls. On the top of the mound was what must have been the throne of the Demon King. The quiet in the chamber seemed waiting for the next attack. Leo, the paladin with lion armor and bushy red beard, turned to the old man.
Which way into the dungeon?
The old man's face was struck by the horror of returning to that foul, nightmarish place, but he raised his hand and pointed to one of the dark hallways on the far wall behind the throne. They moved as quiet as a whisper in the dark passage. The old man whimpered, "The pit fiend and his dog wait for us." Darko brought the golden fire to his sword. His sword burned with magical gold flames. Next, Leo brought fire to his blade, and it burst with bright red flames. Daryl lastly brought the blue fire to his sword. Verkar took his crossbow from his shoulder and locked a bolt into place. Falurk raised his spear and nodded. They started down the highway, the fiery swords creating eerie shadows on the rough stone walls. They had not gone far when they heard the faint sound of metal scraping on stone. The old man froze, then he began wailing, spun around, and ran back down the hallway. Forak shook his head. He did his best. They continued on. The passage turned, and as the paladins came to the corner, the scraping sound suddenly stopped. They had come to a chamber lit by the flickering light of wall torches.
Let's stop here.